It's the weekend in 1996, and you and your friends are making laps around the mall. jnco jeans swishing, pockets stuffed with POGs, eyes peeled for the neon glow of Surge in the food court. There were 1,200 malls packed with kids just like you, swapping pager codes while plotting the next Tamagotchi trade in the shadow of Hot Topic's loudest playlist. Before smartphones, these places ran on sugary drinks, arcade noise, and whatever wild fashion you could convince your parents to buy. But what did all those tiny rituals and oversized outfits actually feel like? And what do you remember that everyone else has forgotten? This is your invitation to step back into the analog rush of the 90s, where the little things defined an entire generation. Every Saturday, the mall felt like the center of the universe. Kids in packs, sneakers squeaking on polished floors, weaving through the maze of shops with nothing on the agenda except to be seen and to see who else showed up. The food court was the unofficial headquarters, Orange Julius in one hand, a slice of Sparrow in the other, and the constant hum of conversations rising above the arcade's bleeps and Street Fighter smack talk. It didn't matter if you had money to spend or just a couple of quarters for the claw machine. The real currency was time and attention, how long you could stretch out a soda, whose crew you'd walk past, who'd nod back at you from the Hot Topic entrance. Malls weren't just about shopping, they were about finding your people. The goth kids posted up under the blacklight glow of Hot Topic, plotting their next hair dye experiment. Preppy squads in bright Gap sweaters compared new scrunchies and swapped rumors by the fountain. Limited 2 was a magnet for anyone hoping to score a butterfly clip or a glittery tee. Even the mall cops, with their jangling keys and walkie-talkies, were just part of the background noise, unless you got caught running laps between the arcade and Sam Goody. Fashion in the 90s was a statement you wore like armor. jnco jeans with legs wide enough to hide a small pet, pockets deep enough for a Walkman, a pager, and a week's worth of POGs. Some pairs could swallow a 2-liter bottle of Surge without breaking stride. Cargo pants in neon or khaki, overalls with one strap hanging loose, flannel shirts tied around the waist. Every piece had a story. Platform sneakers added a few inches of attitude, and if your shoes left a scuff on the tiled floor, all the better. Skaters, hip-hop heads, and grunge kids all carved out their own look, mixing logos and thrift finds, sometimes just to get a rise out of parents or school administrators. It didn't matter if you were there to window shop, sneak a taste of free samples, or just circle the directory for hours. The mall was where you tested out new versions of yourself, a place to trade glances, swap pager numbers, and figure out which tribe you belonged to, at least until next weekend. Nothing jolted the senses quite like cracking open an ice-cold Surge. The can hissed, neon green fizz bubbling up, promising a sugar rush that hit harder than any school lunch chocolate milk. Surge was everywhere after its 1997 launch, 1 billion cans in the first year alone. Parents groaned about the caffeine, but that only made it cooler. The taste was pure electricity, citrus, syrup, and rebellion, chugged before a skate session or stashed in a backpack for bus rides home. Ecto Cooler had its own cult, bright green, sweet as Halloween candy, with Slimer's face daring you to take another sip. And if you wanted to feel invincible, nothing beat the burn of Mountain Dew, the original or whatever wild new flavor your local store managed to stock. Every beep from a pager meant something. In 1994, over 60 million Americans clipped these black bricks to their waistbands. But for 1990s kids, it was a badge of early independence. The codes were a secret handshake. 143 meant I love you. 411 meant, what's up? If your pager buzzed during class, the scramble to find a payphone was instant. You would duck into the hall, dig for quarters, and hope nobody else was waiting. Sometimes it was just a friend asking where you were, but every message felt urgent, like you were part of something bigger than any classroom. Recess was its own stock market. POGs clattered on the blacktop, slammers flying as kids bet their best stacks. Tamagotchis beeped from pockets, demanding to be fed or cleaned before the teacher noticed. Beanie Babies changed hands under the slide. Maybe a princess bear for a stack of commons. Maybe a Raremon smuggled from a parent's collection. Pokemon cards sparked deals and whispered rumors about holographic Charizards. Even Crazy Bones, small and plastic, could be worth a week's worth of traded snacks if you had the right one. The playground economy had its own rules and everyone learned fast. Trade smart, never show all your cards, and guard your Furby like it might actually come alive. All of this happened before any of it could be posted online. The rush of a surge-fueled afternoon, the thrill of a secret pager code, the pride in a well-bartered POG haul. These were the moments that gave the 1990s their pulse. Each beep, each trade, each gulp of something neon was a piece of freedom, a way to connect before screens took over. The world was loud, sticky, and always in motion, and every kid knew exactly where they fit in the chaos. Friday night meant one thing: a trip to Blockbuster. The blue and yellow sign glowed like a beacon, promising a world of choices behind those automatic doors. Families and friends fanned out, scanning the new release wall with a kind of urgency. Whoever grabbed the last copy of the hottest movie was a legend for the weekend. Sometimes you would find yourself clutching a battered VHS tape, praying the last renter remembered to rewind. Late fees were real. $2 a day could turn into a mini crisis, and more than one parent threatened Blockbuster exile over a forgotten tape. But the smell of popcorn, the snap of plastic cases, and the weight of a stack of rentals in your arms made it worth every penny. As the weekend rolled on, another countdown took over: MTV's Total Request Live. When TRL hit in 1998, it turned afternoons into a pop culture battleground. Kids raced home and dialed in, hoping their vote would push their favorite band, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, up the chart. Carson Daly held court as millions watched the numbers climb, signs waving in the crowd outside the studio. For a few minutes, it felt like you and everyone else were in on the same secret, choosing the soundtrack for the whole country. Appointment TV wasn't just about watching, it was about showing up, calling in, and being part of something bigger. Bedroom walls became shrines to heartthrobs and pop stars, every inch covered with foldouts from Tiger Beat and BOP. Leonardo DiCaprio smiled down from above the desk, and JTT's grin peeked out from behind the closet door. Magazines traded hands in the hallway, each glossy page promising a new quiz, a secret fact, or a perfect poster to tape up just so. The ritual was personal, choosing which faces kept you company at night, which lyrics you scribbled on your Trapper Keeper, which crush you circled in pink gel pen. Then came the sound that changed everything, the shriek and static of dial-up. AOL CDs piled up on kitchen counters and fridge doors, promising hundreds of free hours online. Getting connected was not instant. You waited, fingers drumming, hoping no one picked up the phone and kicked you off. Screen names became a new kind of identity, part inside joke, part secret wish, always typed in lowercase or with just the right amount of numbers. Aim-away messages turned into tiny poems, coded messages for your friends, and maybe that one person you hoped was watching. By 1999, Napster let you swap music files with strangers, trading MP3 files in the middle of the night, a whole new kind of mixtape. Paper walls gave way to digital ones, but the thrill of connection, the hope that someone somewhere was thinking of you, never changed. Saturday mornings in the 90s were a kind of sacred gathering. The house was quiet except for the muffled sound of cartoons drifting from living rooms. Doug, Rugrats, the Ren and Stimpy show, all stacked back to back in a block that felt endless. Nickelodeon's Orange Splat was more than a logo. It was a promise of slime, pranks, and a world built just for kids. Early risers claimed the remote, cereal bowls in hand, fingers hovering over the record button, to catch their favorite episode on VHS. If you missed it, you hoped someone at school taped it, but nothing beat the thrill of hitting stop at just the right moment, then scribbling the show's name on the label in bubble letters. As the decade wound down, a different kind of countdown crept in. Everyone talked about Y2K, the mysterious bug that might wipe out computers at midnight. Parents stocked up on batteries and bottled water, and some unplugged everything, just in case. For teens, it turned into an excuse for one last big party, mall gatherings, sleepovers, even a few all-night video game marathons in basements. Midnight struck, the lights stayed on, and everyone cheered, half relieved and half disappointed that nothing exploded. The world rolled over into 2000, but the sounds of Saturday cartoons and the hum of anticipation lingered. A final echo of a decade that never really wanted to grow up. What you felt in those neon-lit malls over a can of Surge or a Blockbuster Friday still connects us. These memories aren't just nostalgia, they are proof that the simplest rituals can last a lifetime. What is your favorite 90s memory or drink? Drop it below and subscribe for more Only 90s Kids nostalgia.